All right, hello and welcome everybody to another episode of All Things Real Estate. As always, I am your host, Kyle Seyboth with Keller Williams Realty, and I serve Rhode Island and Massachusetts, residential and commercial real estate. I try to touch on different subjects every week, and like we talk about, hopefully add value to everyone that's watching, listening, as we start streaming online, that sort of stuff as well. We just really want to be able to add value to the listeners and the viewers. Today, unlike any other day, I have a special guest. Today I have Shane Halajko from Shane Halajko, formerly with Blue Sky Real Estate, then went to Keller Williams, and now he is with HomeSmart, he just told me, right?
HomeSmart Professionals.
HomeSmart Professionals. So
Shane 58 Real Estate.
/50. So Shane is a realtor, right? So he's a real estate salesperson, real estate broker, realtor. He is, the reason I wanted to have you on is currently public access, we're on Seekonk. Right. You have been born and raised here, right?
Right.
So you are Seekonk through and through.
Yep.
You know the community, you know the town.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be important to bring someone else that's in real estate, that sells real estate from Seekonk on the show and kind of explain, first of all, how long have you been in real estate?
Almost 20 years, 2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
2002.
So licensed in both Mass and Rhode Island.
Yeah, licensed in Mass and Rhode Island. And you've been, where did you start? 2002, would you kind of?
I started with Dumont Realty, who was right up the street from me.
On Baker's Corner.
Yeah, because I'm down in the North End. He mentored me for a good year. Have a ton of respect for Paul Dumont as a mentor. And then I went into RE/MAX for many years.
Okay, so you went from Dumont. And Paul from, I wasn't in the game back then, but Paul really kind of had this whole market on lockdown, right? He was the big player.
Absolutely.
From what I remember back then, Paul was really one of the big players in the business, especially locally. I know his son, Kevin, is still around, right? Still doing some stuff?
Yeah, and I think
some
Paul does a few. I did a couple of deals with Paul. It was kind of nice to have a full circle with him.
Yep. Teacher-student situation?
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He can sell a house, boy. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you did that. Have you practiced real estate all the way through? So the full 20 years, did you keep your license that whole time?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, good. And you live now in Seekonk?
Yes.
Yep. Do you still live in the North End?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a Northerner.
And why? So if you were to tell the viewers or you were to tell a client, why would I buy in Seekonk? What are the big reasons?
The big reasons, the number one reason I get is the school system. Mm-hmm. And, I've had my kids go through the school system. One's actually a freshman in high school. And they got the Seekonk Warrior Way, just the standard bar of excellence is up there. It's always been up there for Seekonk people, students, even when I was in the Seekonk school system. And now you got these teachers who graduated in the years that I graduate, and they bring that same standard of excellence that they want to see through the students.
So you're starting to see that. So you're seeing people that you went to school with that are coming back and they're teaching the youth.
Oh yeah, they've been here for a while. Yeah, it's pretty.
So you said fun. Yours is a freshman?
Yeah, one's a freshman. One already graduated. Yep.
Does the freshman play any sport? How are the sports in Seekonk?
Sports are doing well. Mm-hmm. She's not involved with any sporting yet, so she's big into dancing, but eventually she will. They have a ton of clubs.
Good.
I think the biggest selling point, too, Kyle, with the school system is, all the schools, the elementary schools, the middle school, they're all great schools. When you get to high school, it's such a small number of kids.
How many kids do you think are in the high school? If you were to guess.
I would say maybe 650 or so.
I would say 500.
Yeah,
probably 150 a class. 150 times 4, right around 600.
Yeah, that's a big seller.
That's what I was going to say. And I think the problem that some people are concerned with is there's an influx of people into town.
Yep.
So what that's doing is that's causing some of these middle schools and elementary schools to be one middle school, but causing the elementary schools to be flooded, right, with students. So you need to add space.
Right.
Right. So you're adding these modular type buildings, and to add space and add classrooms to facilitate for the kids. But I see, so my daughters are 6 and 4. So my 6-year-old goes to Martin, absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
I drop her off every morning, and I think it's great how, the teachers are standing by the door. They're very inviting. The school is well kept. It's clean. I went to North School.
That's where I went.
So North School was not clean, was not neat, it was different, right? It was an older school. These, like Aiken and Martin, they've really come a long way. They've modernized, they've updated the right things, and I think it's good for the kids. I think that stuff's fantastic.
So you went to North School.
I did.
But see, I went back even further than you.
Yes.
So it was very well kept. It was,
really?
Oh, God, yeah.
When I was leaving, it was like the end of North School.
Oh.
So I was at the tail end when North School was like coming to an end.
Yeah.
And it was it was okay, but I would say Martin's hands down way better.
Well, Martin's the newest of the three.
It's way better.
And they each, Aiken and Martin, have their own specialty as well, too. I think, I'm not sure what Martin's is, but I know Aiken's is reading excellence. Do you know what Martin is? Is it math? Is it?
I think a little probably math. My daughter's always doing math stuff, so I'd say math.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's kudos to the system, and that to me is probably the biggest driver from people in Rhode Island to Seekonk is that better school system, that excellence, right? That expectation of excellence.
Expectation,
amongst the students and the teachers and the parents, which is good to see. For you, another question, right? So you've done a lot in Seekonk, and I think this question can translate to anywhere in Bristol County.
Right.
So you've done a lot in Seekonk since 2002.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what do the prices look like here historically? So what that question means is, right now, would you say that we are in an inflated market? Are we in a real market where the prices are where they should be? Or is the market deflated where the prices need to go higher?
I think at one point this year, they were getting inflated, and then it stopped. And now it's more of a leveled off market where it should be.
I would agree. I actually think you're spot on. I think the last 2 years, I think if you went back this year in the spring and then cycled back to the last year, Seekonk was overinflated.
Yeah.
Was super inflated. I would say now the market's cooled down enough where people are not paying over what these things are worth. People are coming in a little bit more savvy and saying, hey, wait, that Raves Ranch isn't worth $400. That's worth $350. Let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah, you have to re-educate the sellers.
You do. Re-educate the sellers, and the buyers are educated now. And they're saying, slow down. It's not working. So I'm seeing that in Seekonk, and I'm seeing that, again, across Bristol County and across more of the affluent parts of Rhode Island. I'm seeing the same thing. People aren't just overpaying.
Well, the thing is, Kyle, too, is that when I'm always studying the numbers, especially in Seekonk, and the average day on the market is for a while was 26 days.
Which is under a month.
Fast. So if your house is on the market and it's now, 145 days, there's something telling, and you haven't changed your price to reflect the market, what are you going to do?
There's a simple problem there, right? So I tell my sellers, there's a buyer, there's a seller, there's a house and a price for every asset in the world. Until you get to that price, the house will not sell. The house will sit there. And you can do anything you want. It's not at the right price. Once it hits the right price, they will come. The buyers will come. The buyers will come, and then it's our job to facilitate that transaction and get the most value for our seller, if we're on the sell side, and on the buy side to get it down as low as possible. So to your point, sorry, I'm a little, this crazy cough I cannot get rid of. So Shane, you brought with you interesting stats, and I think this is stuff that's really important that we share with kind of the audience and understand what's going on. So in Seekonk right now, in December, there's 41 active listings.
Yeah, and this is all per the mass MLS pin?
So this is all data from MLS. So this data comes directly from MLS, which is the source where all listings get listed, So coming off of that, this is where the actual stuff that's not a for sale by owner will go into. No. So 41 active listings. The average square feet in Seekonk right now is $26.55, and the average list price is 583.
Yeah.
And the days on the market's 160. So you take 160 divided by 30, it's about 5 months. So the average house went from 1 month
Yeah.
to 5 months. And that's telling you that those active listings are mostly overpriced.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And I would bet, without looking at that, out of those 41, 15 of those are probably new construction.
Exactly
right.
New construction.
I would bet $1 million,
Yeah.
like 15 to 20 of those are new construction.
So that's.
So you got to take those out of the mix because
Right.
those can sit there for a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
And those prices aren't going to move. Now, pending, this is kind of disturbing. Pending, wow, that's bad. In Seekonk right now, there's only 15 pending transactions.
Yeah.
That's a low number.
Yeah.
There's probably, just in some of the local offices, 40 realtors,
Right.
right? So think about that. You've got 40 realtors in some of the offices in town,
Yeah.
and you only have 15 pending deals.
Right.
Average price, $359. Days on the market, 65. What's DTO stand for?
Days to the offer.
So days from the time it went on the market to the
They got the offer.
That's a good number. So
Yeah.
it's 2 months, about 2 months there, 15
Right.
50 days. And then sold listings in the last, I'm assuming this is 6 months.
No, this is the past year.
Really?
Yeah,
So
up until today.
in the past year, you've had 146 sold properties in Seekonk. Average square feet, 2,000. Average list price, 387. Average sale price, 379. And average days to offer, in my opinion, is the most important, 36 days.
Yeah.
So this data, right, basically tells me that Seekonk values are between 375 and 400 on average, right?
Right.
Everything's moving within a month to 2 months to get an offer.
Yeah.
If you're not, to your point, that price needs to go, that needs to change,
Yeah.
right? That price needs to change. And then right now, this kind of feeds into my theory that all these towns that are school specific or school driven with buyers and sellers don't move in the winter.
Right.
The stuff doesn't move.
Right.
You only have 14 pending listings.
Yeah.
So there's only 14 people buying and selling a house in town right now.
Unless you get the listing,
Right.
and you price it.
Unless you price it 100% spot on or below market.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not going to move.
And if you price it below market, you're going to end up getting over the market because
You'll get bidding war.
You get a bidding war. And I always say no buyer is ever going to let another buyer steal a property from them.
Correct.
You know. So
Absolutely.
that's something you tell your seller.
Right.
You say, listen, you know, or even your buyer, because they
Right.
might think they pay too much. It's
Right.
like, no, buyers don't let buyers steal properties from each other.
They're not going to give it to you.
No.
The value is what it's worth.
Right.
The value is what someone's willing to pay for it. Right. So at the end of the day, that's a key factor.
Yeah.
That's important to tell buyers and sellers. So as far as Seekonk goes, what are your outlooks for 2020? What do you think? Like this, take this blueprint, take this map and say, does this carry forward? Is this going to be higher, lower, better, worse? What are your thoughts?
I think, with the interest rates are incredible. I mean,
They're
I
so
just
low.
closed yesterday, and in this couple, the interest rate was 3.8. So
On a 30-year?
but that wasn't in Seekonk. But anyways,
But it was a 30-year.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where it is.
So it's amazing. So if the interest rates are where they're at, and people are still working, I see a pretty healthy market. But I also see some, I call them the green reapers, some foreclosures, taking short sales and whatnot, because I think people, took advantage and why not? Took some money out, juiced out their house, and sometimes people fall on hard times.
Yeah, sure.
But people had a lot of equity in their house.
So I guess my question there is, like, foreclosures are down across the board.
Right.
Right?
So I think they're going to go up.
When do you think that happens? This year, next year, 5 years?
I think we're going to see more. I think we're going to start seeing them this year.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you'll see a little more. I don't think you see a ton. I think
Not a ton, but
I think we're 2 to 3 years out till they start, because there's really nothing. There's one right now in Seekonk on, I can't remember the name of the street, but there's one ranch that's on the market now. It's a foreclosure for like $230. Outside of that, there's really nothing.
No, and I see a lot in the classifieds and whatnot, and a lot of times what happens is they're scheduled and it never happens.
Oh, you're talking about classifieds for the auctions?
Yeah.
they stop them.
They stop.
The auctions get stopped all the time.
Yeah.
The buyer can, or the seller rather, he could do a number of different things to
Right.
stop an auction. So I see that all the time too.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
But you do see it, and you're like, but that has slowed down. I mean, you've seen a lot of those before.
Tons and tons and tons.
Yeah.
You're like 1/20th of where we were before.
Yeah.
Which is good for the economy.
Right.
Right, and good for sellers to keep the values up. Tough for buyers to get anything with value. And there's a lot of buyers, I think, that are waiting on the sideline for these things to come back.
Right.
That have cash, that have access to cash, that are ready to go.
Yeah, I think I have, I have quite a few buyers that plan on making a move to Seekonk or in the area this upcoming year. Believe it or not, the spring market's January, February.
Right on the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, all I'm doing is training my staff to be ready for a very busy spring market.
Yeah.
Right? We're busy right now, but we're doing this all in advance of a spring market to really be ready to rock and roll.
Right.
And that's kind of the key. So another question to you, let's talk about financing. So for financing, if I'm a Seekonk buyer or a local Bristol County buyer, do you have anybody that you work with locally that you think does a good job?
Absolutely, yes, I do.
Who do you work with?
I work with Mike Nato, First Home Mortgage, right down the corner. It used to be the Dumont
building, yeah.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The whole staff is.
Yeah.
And I like to go with what I call like a dream team with my buyers. That's the attorney, that's the loan officer.
Yep.
And,
So he's your preferred lender? You'd say Mike is your preferred guy?
He's my only guy right now.
Who is your preferred attorney?
Michael Lima.
Yeah, Michael's great.
Yeah.
So you've got a good...
And he's an alumni of 94, Seekonk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did you know Michael before?
No, I didn't know Michael before. I just...
So you met him through the business?
I met him through the business. We talked. I liked the fact that he came through the system of Seekonk, the Seekonk blood, so to speak. And it shows how the whole operation of his
runs a good operation. He does a nice... So I use both of those guys.
You do.
Full transparency. Yep, I use those guys a lot. They do a really nice job. I can vouch for both of them. I think I could say for your buyers, whoever works with you, they will get a dream team.
Yeah.
That is a really good team that you're working with.
Right.
And now the last piece of that team would be your home inspector. Who do you utilize there?
I give them some choices.
Yeah. So you've got a list of a couple, 3 or 4 guys that you'll give people a choice with on the home.
And they can look at they can check out their own.
Yeah,
as well,
do your
too.
reviews.
But I also remind them that they're not all the same, and especially the ones in Rhode Island are not as
Well, Rhode Island, you don't have to be licensed.
That's what I mean.
Massachusetts, you need to be a licensed.
I usually like to have a. I like to see them go with a mask.
Always, I agree.
And do even if it's a Rhode Island property, just because of what they go through in the training.
The mass, it's a total different animal, right?
Yeah.
So a mass inspector versus a Rhode Island inspector, 2 total different animals. You're going to get 2 different levels of service, right? You get what you pay for, right? So you pay for a certain level, you get that level. In mass, you pay for a certain level. Like Rhode Island, you could have your cousin inspect the house.
Oh, yeah.
Legit, there's nothing stopping someone in a contract from having anyone inspect that property.
Yeah. And it's I've formed really good relationships with these home inspectors. But yet, at the end of the day, when we're doing the home inspection, whether we're friends, colleagues, associates or not, it's all business.
Yeah.
They're going to do their job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my job, and it's not like buddy type.
No.
They don't back down on nothing.
I think the biggest thing with the home inspection is our job as realtors is the buyer happy. Is the buyer happy? Is the buyer comfortable? If that answer is no, we need to move on. We need to move on to another property.
Right.
Right. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It happens I would say. What is the percentage of your deals that fall through from inspections?
Knock on wood, I've got a 100% record right now.
What?
Yeah.
In how long?
For this year.
Time out. You've had not one deal fall apart with inspections?
None.
Wow.
None. Yeah.
I've had a ton.
Yeah, well, you do a little bit more than me.
I would say 25%.
Yeah. Well, look at the
Easily.
number. I mean,
Right.
we're in the numbers, you know.
It is a volume, it is a numbers thing, but that's good. I mean, kudos to you, because having 0 is really good, because you know that means, like, when you're on the sell side, you have to sell that house 3-4 times.
Right.
And I can't control what comes up on a house.
No.
The house is what the house is.
Right.
Right. But at the end of the day, I also can't force a buyer to buy something they don't want.
No.
Whether they have their own realtor or they're my buyer, I have to allow them to make their own decision.
Well, didn't it change, Kyle, over the years, where it was electric, safety, structural,
Health and safety.
Yeah, and now it's
Construction.
anything.
Yeah. Oh, it literally could be an outlet. An outlet that's loose.
Right.
It could be the paint, and in Mass and Rhode Island, you can back out for any reason.
Any reason now.
You do the home
There's no
inspection.
gray area.
You do the home inspection. You don't like anything that came up, one little thing, or you like everything, you still can just back out.
Right. That's your back out time.
And the thing with the seller is try to explain that when the home inspection went well. That, to me, the buyer just didn't want the house.
Well, I mean, we have different systems.
Right.
And I'm not saying, you know, you have a great system. The system I use is, I really try to find out the why. Why do you want to buy? You know,
Right.
what are your reasons, you know? Same thing with the seller. Why do you want to sell? Mm-hmm. And I dig deep. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at this way here, I get a level of, you know, what, you know, if they're serious or,
Right.
you know, what the case may be.
So
you know?
I could tell you this. I know if a deal's gonna fall apart before we do the home inspection.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% on that. Like, I can tell you, hey, Shane, this one, no chance. We're gonna do it, but I can already tell you this deal has nowhere. It's not. I'll tell my sellers, like, guys, this thing is not going anywhere.
Right.
Like, there's no chance this thing goes.
That's interesting.
Because I already know how that buyer, or I can tell from the negotiations, I can tell from the behavior, the language,
Yes.
just the different body language, how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, this thing has no shot, or this thing will actually close.
And again, you're dealing with a different volume where I'm dealing with just referrals.
Right, so different.
So you've got people that are coming out from all over the woodwork.
All over.
And I have my people coming for me from referrals directly.
That you know.
So I somewhat have a
better handle on who they are, what they.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know.
You're gonna be able to know someone much more in depth than I will.
Yes, yeah.
You're gonna know them for years and years and years. I may have met these folks an hour ago.
Right. See?
Right?
Yeah.
So I have to understand these people
You have to read them pretty quick.
fast.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really good at, is the ability to read someone and understand what is the good, bad, and ugly of this transaction to help them be happy.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. Just make them happy. Are you happy with the purchase?
Right.
If not, we're going to move on.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So outside of that, in Seekonk, good market, good schools. People normally get some land with their property, which is good. A lot of good community programs out there.
Awesome.
My kids are involved in the sports, so basketball, they do a heck of a job in basketball.
Yeah.
Soccer's run really well. Softball, I can only speak, I have 2 daughters, so I can't speak about baseball, but softball's run really well. And then they run a flag football league. And
Football's run very well. I'm
Yeah.
involved with that.
I've heard that as well.
The high school and also the junior warriors, you know, as well. So,
So I think in conclusion, right, I would say that we both would agree it's a great place to live. It's a great place to build a family. It's a great place to build a community and be part of that, right?
Yeah.
So for anyone looking, it's definitely worthwhile. And with that, we are out of time.
That's it.
That is it.
I'll have
want
to come back.
You have to come back on the show. I want to say thank you so much.
All right, thank you,
and
Kyle.
we really appreciate Shane coming on. Again, Shane with Home Smart Professionals. Any questions, reach out to me and I will get you in touch.